afternoon, everyone. How are you? It is good to see you, and it is good to be seen by you. Welcome to the show. I, of course, am the one and only Bill Sylvie, aka the Dungeon Delver, coming to you live, loud, and clear on a Monday afternoon. And guys, just because it's Monday doesn't mean we can't have fun, because we're going to talk about all the fun we're going to be having this week. And then we're going to open up the floor to some discussion about TTRPG topics that you guys want to talk about. Before we get into that, though, let me ask you just a small favor. Let me impose on you just a tiny bit and ask, if you haven't already, would you please click the subscribe button, click the bell icon for notifications, and then you can find out when we're having all of our fun. And won't that be fun? And I'll appreciate it. And guess what? I'll throw in the ability to give this video a like for absolutely free. That's not paywalled. That's not locked behind memberships. That's not for like, oh, well, you got to be here for a certain. You can click that thumbs up button. And if you're watching this in the future, which is probably how most of you will be watching this, I defy any of you to watch it in the past. Leave a comment down below. That certainly helps boost the visibility a little bit, because YouTube, they suppress. They're an awful company. Hey, I'm in good company with John Stewart Keller. He's on the road with me and Merle Haggard. And that's pretty darn cool. Fun fact, Merle Haggard was in the audience when Johnny Cash did his infamous Folsom Prison concert. Anyway, so yeah, this is the show, everybody. Oh, and I forgot to do that. There we go. So now we can see your scintillating commentary pop right up on the screen as it comes. But anyway, yeah, so I would really appreciate that. And of course, a quick reminder, tonight's live stream is brought to you by me. That's right. I am the sponsor, and you can buy our products. We have a link to merch down in the video description. You can check out the spring store. Get that gorgeous Delver's Dungeon logo on a t-shirt, on a hoodie, on a pint glass, on a mug, on a canvas wall print, on a vinyl sticker. So much. I think we've got like a tea back even. So if it's turning not from summer into fall where you are, but rather from winter into spring, and you need something for lighter fare coming up, get yourself a Delver's Dungeon t-shirt, won't you? But there's that, and there's also Crom, which I'm going to talk a little bit about today. I've been tinkering with Crom. There are some improvements and fixes coming out of Crom soon. So whether you're going to buy Crom, whether you've bought Crom, there is a major patch coming for Crom. So hold on to your horses. That should probably be out tomorrow or Wednesday. And by the way, if you're curious what Crom is, if you don't know what Crom is the Character Record Organization Manager software. It is the last word in first edition. With Crom, you can create any player's handbook legal class race alignment combination. You can then level that character. You can purchase equipment for that character. Did you create a magic user or an illusionist? Guess what? Regardless of level, it will generate a spell book for you. And then you'll just be ready to rock and roll. Do you want to split off into dual class as a human? It offers that feature if you have the requirements to become dual class. How about becoming a bard? Guess what? It does that too. Does Did your character catch sight of a ghost and age? Crom handles aging and all the potentially deleterious impacts on character stats. Add XP, jump forward whole levels, drain levels from characters. Crom does it all. And I'm super excited about that. Crom is a really good program, and it's only $25. $25. It runs on Windows 8, 8.1, 10, and 11, 32 or 64-bit, and it runs on Linux under Wine. If you're interested in a copy of Crom, you can reach out to me, bsylvie@gmail.com, and I will hook you up with a copy of Crom. So please check that out. If you have need to quickly and easily create any character for first edition AD&D. Did I mention you can save in plain text or HTML, that it has all 4 methods of characteristic generation that are book legal in AD&D, and a manual entry mode? If you don't trust those D6 generators, it's got all that cool stuff, guys. It's got all that cool stuff. So check out Crom today. You know what? Let's just start there. Let's just start with talking about Crom news. I hit a bug in recent revisions, and it was all my fault. It was all my fault that this happened. Let me tell you what happened. Level drain was not working properly. In that, hit points, Doc Flamingo, thank you very much, says, all hail Crom, no Cavaliers, burn, take that, Unearthed Arcana jerks. Thank you for the $5, Doc. I really appreciate it. A high $5 diet is recommended. But anyway, one moment. The bug that I hit with Crom that I'm going to tell you guys about was, sometimes I work in an IDE, an integrated developer environment. Basically, it's a program that will help you program, for lack of a better term. Think of it as like Notepad, but with a crap ton of debug features for programs. Hello, Savo. Now, you can do weapon preferences, or proficiencies, rather. That's a 1E AD&D thing, and you can do it. But anyway, so what happened was, in the latest revision, sometimes I use Notepad, sometimes I use WordPad to write my code. Here's the thing. The text you copy out of certain places and then paste into into VS Code, which is where the main program was working, sometimes the characters come across a little funky. Well, I made a typo in, I think I was working in Notepad++, or maybe I was working in even WordPad. I don't remember. But for the level drain function, it was picking up the UTF code for right arrow instead of the equal sign, which is /U. Somebody check me out on this, like 2985. So I pasted it in, bada, bada, boom. Nothing crashed. It didn't pick up on anything. Well, what was happening was, when it was writing out characters, instead of putting an equals sign in the hit point calculations, it was doing /U2985. Crom went looking for equal signs in the equations for hit points to properly deduct. It would hit a line C/U2985 and go, that's not a hit point equation. And it would move down. Because of that one arrow that I had in the hit point equations instead of an equal sign, the JSON file was outputting the UTF code for right arrow. And it was not leaving Crom anywhere to find to properly deduct from. Henry Dunn, we're talking about Crom, the Character Record Organization Manager software. Paladin Steve, getting kind of brutal over here. He's saying we need a TPK tomorrow night so you can demonstrate how quick and easy it is to generate a party of characters using Crom. I can do that without wasting every character tomorrow night, Steve. I can demo it. I promise. I don't have to slay without remorse. So I fixed that bug. I don't have a copy over here, or I would demonstrate it right now. I will demonstrate it for you guys at another time. But Henry, if you are interested in a feature complete, robust character creation tool, not just character creation, character leveling, level draining, sell gems and jewelry, buy equipment, age the character, change the stats, dual class humans and half elves that can become bards, create bards, check for psionics. If all of that interests you, reach out to me, my friend. We have much to discuss. bsylvie@gmail.com. Steve says it's more fun his way. Hey, I'm not here to yuck anybody's yum, but do thank you very much, Steve, for the super. I appreciate that. I really do. Great old ones. Good to see you. Good afternoon to you. In fact, Henry, go ahead and drop me that email right now so we don't forget, bsylvie@gmail, and we'll discuss Crom. So yeah, I've been spending a while tinkering with it, fixing the bugs that I introduced in a patch. See, that's the nature sometimes, is you'll fix one thing and then you stumble over something else. So it's fixed now, and it will be in everyone's hot little hands. Speaking of things in people's hot little hands, we have a little more than a week before the reveal of the 2025 holiday gift giveaway items. On October 1st, I will release a video here on YouTube, over on X, and I will talk about it on the live stream that night, where I will tell you all what you are going to receive. Potentially, I didn't say you, like all of you are going to get it. 4 lucky people on Christmas night will have their names drawn, and you will receive this probably kind of once in a lifetime opportunity to win what I'm going to be giving away on Christmas night. So that will be revealed next Wednesday. Be there for it. I will show it to you. Now, who is this going to be available to? Let me tell you straight up. If you are a paid supporter on Patreon or a paid member here on YouTube, which I don't think they have an unpaid tier, your name will go on the wheel that we will spin on Christmas night. Here's the criteria for that. You have to become a member no later than October 31st, 2025, not November the 1st. So you have 40 days to decide. There is no minimum level entry except paid. You don't have to become a $5 member. You don't have to become a $10 member. You can be $1.99 over on YouTube or $1 over on Patreon. Links are all down below and scrolling across the bottom. I think you can click somewhere over here-ish to become a YouTube member. But you have to have joined no later than October 31st. And you have to stay through to the end of December. You can't just get your membership on October 31st and then drop. You have to stay through a couple of months. And when you see, again, I don't want to belabor the point, guys. It is a TTRPG product. It is a playable TTRPG product. Now, last year, we gave away some kind of eclectic stuff. We gave away a Pac-Man minicab. We gave away a Mobile Suit Gundam model. We gave away the Icons of the Realms basic D&D, Holmes basic D&D Red Dragon, which is a little obscured over here. This fella right here. And we gave a copy of the D&D cookbook. This year, it's 4 of the same thing. It's 4 of the same thing. And it's not TTRPG adjacent like a few of the items, like 2 of the items were last year. I mean, the Pac-Man machine and the Mobile Suit Gundam model are neat, but they're not TTRPG products by any stretch of the imagination. The miniature, if you don't use miniatures, well, that's just something that looks nice on the shelf. The cookbook, it's nice to have a cookbook. But what I'm giving away this year, what we are giving away with a spin of the wheel this year, is a TTRPG item. Thank you, Henry. Thank you. You will probably not have another chance to win something like this again. I'm just telling you. So a bunch of you guys may be sitting on the fence waiting to see what happens. Now, I understand waiting. I can understand waiting all the way to October 31st. Maybe things are really tight for you. I get it. We're going into the holiday season. I don't expect anyone to sign up as a Master Thief level $10 a month on YouTube or on Patreon for this. If you're really thrifty, I recommend going over to Patreon. It's actually a little bit more beneficial to me because Patreon and then PayPal take way less out than YouTube does. And I get it on a monthly basis. YouTube delays me a month. So be there for that next Wednesday. You're going to love it. But I'm getting ahead of myself because guess what? We have a whole week ahead of us. So, setting tonight, excuse me, little phlegmy. Setting tonight aside, tomorrow night we are going to play some first edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons live right here. Now, if you're not used to that, if you don't know what we're doing, I will explain that when I get done marching through the week. Wednesday night, we will be playing Yes, But, and that is Kyle's, my co-host, my friend and Australian co-host, Kyle, the Viking Hat GM, will be here running. The scenario we're running with the rule set is post-apocalypse. It's a very lightweight, action-y kind of game, and I quite like it. But I get to play. Kyle's running it. I don't have to run it. All I have to do is create the episode and kick it off, and then we're good to go. Thursday night, I'm really excited about this because, speaking of friends, we have a guest on Thursday night. Thursday night, folks. Thursday night. Mr. Paul Stormberg will be in the house. He's going to be here talking about Dragon Days. He's going to be here talking about TSR history. We're going to joust. I need to regain my crown. I'm super duper excited about Paul being here. And I'm just over the moon. So that's Thursday. Lock in, because that's going to be a long one. Friday night, we are playing the final Gamma World game of 2025. Because starting next week, we kick off our 5, not 4, 5 night Halloween horror special where we play Call of Cthulhu on Friday nights for you guys. And I have quite the little frightening Call of Cthulhu scenario. I'm not going to spoil anything. Just tune in. If horror RPGs are your jam, if getting spooked is your thing, then absolutely, positively, unquestionably tune in Fridays in October. And guess what? October this year has 5 Fridays, and we'll wrap up on Halloween night. Oh, yeah. So don't miss out. Now, maybe you've just subscribed to the show, and a few of you have. Thank you. God bless you all. And you don't, when I say, oh, well, we're going to play TTRPGs, maybe you've kind of got it in your mind that it's going to be, we're going to LARP. I'm going to have cameras set up around. No. Because the closest member of any of our live stream games to me is like 2 hours away. Everyone else is scattered across the country. But maybe you're thinking, oh, like Critical Role, you guys just sit there and you do the things and you have the story. There's no story arcs, guys. There's no script writing sessions. There's no rehearsals. There's no table reads. There's none of that. Just on down the line. None of that. No rehearsals, nothing. The dice decide what happens every session, period. We could start playing tomorrow night, guys, and get into a situation where we are rolling up new characters 10 minutes into the game. It could just happen that way. It could just happen that way. My fault, their fault, nobody's fault. Because none of this is rehearsed. None of it's rehearsed. So be ready. Be ready. Be prepared for that. Now, something else I want to point out that I like to do, that I like to bring to the table is for you guys watching out there, if you have questions about what we're doing, about the rules, about who the characters, about anything that is game pertinent, I want you to ask it. I want you to ask it right over here in the chat. I want you guys to feel like you can ask a question, and I will do my darndest to answer it as quickly as I can, because I want you to learn about the game you're watching being played. If you don't know, then ask. That's right, Ptolemachus. That's right. Now, if anything goes wrong, anything at all, your fault, my fault, nobody's fault, that boy is going to die. So yeah, ask and I will answer. If I don't answer, one of the players might answer. If they don't pick it up, somebody in the live stream audience might, because folks, let me tell you what. I have the best looking and smartest audience of any 5-night a week live stream classic TTRPG show on YouTube. And I will kill on that hill. I will absolutely do it. I don't think there's any smarter. I don't think there's any better looking. You go find me a 5-night a week classic TTRPG live stream show on YouTube. Bring me their audience. I'll match your brains against them any night of the week. Any night of the week. So that is our week ahead, guys. And I hope you guys are excited about that. I hope you guys are looking forward to that. Especially Paul. All of it, but especially Paul. By the way, I want to give a shout out to Doc Flamingo, who has been a member of the show for 19 months. Salute, my friend. 19 months. Brother, that is approaching 2 years. That's some dedication. Thank you. Odd Scimitar, hello, good to see you. So that's our week ahead. I had an interesting discussion today over on X. And I want to talk to you guys about this a little bit. One of the things that people have picked over, and I have seen a lot of electrons spent on the matter of hit points. And this came up a few months ago. Somebody showed off a picture of a Bowie knife. And if you don't know what a Bowie knife is, it's named after David Bowie. No, just kidding. It's just a big honker of a knife, big backside heavy knife. It borders on machete, really. It is quite the pig sticker. But the Bowie knife is it Bowie or Bowie? Anyway, it's a big knife, but it is a knife. It's not a sword. Regardless, people in the Twitter comments are, well, that's really more of a short sword, Bill, because blah 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 blah. It's called a knife. I would, and it came up a few months ago on X. This discussion that Well, I don't know how you call that a dagger. You take more than 1 to 4 points of damage from that. And as some kind of own to how AD&D's damage works. And I thought about this. And so I decided to make a post about this. And you know what? I will let me make sure none of my questionable subscriptions are showing. Let me share this with you guys. And I want your opinions on this. Because I think there's been a lot of electrons wasted on hit points and yada yada yada. Okay, so this is what I said. I'm going to post up 2 pictures here to discuss hit points in D&D. The picture of the rather nasty-looking knife prompted some discussion months back about how if it's a dagger, there's no way that does 1 to 4 points of damage. And if someone got stabbed with it, they'd cease to exist, at most 2 thrusts from it. And to that I say, look at the table, and I'm gonna share that in a second. Well, yes, that is a dagger, and it does do 1 to 4 points of damage. This is a real live dagger. If you or I or anyone we know, for the most part, got that full blade in them, depending, I mean, if it was through the foot, probably not, but they're going to decease. So how can you say that this only does 1 to 4 points of damage? It's because we're all this. You, especially you, and absolutely especially me, we're not D&D characters. 99% of the people you know aren't D&D characters. We are typical inhabitants. The bulk of the people met on an adventure in an inhabited area, whether city, town, village, or along the roads through the countryside, will be average folk with no profession as adventurers know it, and no special abilities for clericism, fighting, magic, or thievery. They are simply typical, normal people, as you define typical and normal for the Melu, of course. When dealing with these types, it is suggested that the following factors be used. I would wager to guess, given the obesity epidemic in the United States, most of us are sedentary males and sedentary females. We have 1 to 3 hit points. Mayor Trumpet has been struck by lightning. Thank you. First of all, that is a ridiculous name, and I love it. And second of all, I'm glad somebody got a gifted membership. Namaste, my friend. Thank you very much. Yes, Jay, I know. I was teasing with a David Bowie comment. Ptolemyca says, I only have 1 hit point. You may. Now, maybe you know somebody who lifts and jogs. My co-host, Kyle, almost certainly falls into active male, 2 to 5 hit points. He may even fall under laboring given the amount of weights he lifts. So he may have 2 to 7. He may have 1d6 plus 1. He certainly has military training. I might even put him as a first level fighter. But guys, if you look at the average here, 1.5, 2, 2, 2.5, 2.5, 3, or 3.5 even. This nightmare of an item absolutely positively will do lethal damage if you're stuck with it. You, me, anybody else. Now, the important thing is, and I'm going to go on here, if you watch The Fat Electrician on YouTube, if you don't watch The Fat Electrician on YouTube, you should be watching The Fat Electrician on YouTube. He talks about an army sergeant named Roy Benavidez. Roy Benavidez served in the Vietnam conflict really early. He stepped on a landmine one day. The usually fragmenting top stayed in one piece, but it struck him in the lower spine and it rendered him unable to walk. He didn't want to. Thank you again. My ear trumpet has been struck by lightning. He did not want to leave the military. He did not want to leave the army at all. Sergeant Benavidez, to the anger of the military hospital personnel, at night when he was supposed to be sleeping, put himself through a physical therapy regimen, leaving him in acute agony, but growing stronger and more capable every day. To the point that the doctor who was ready to muster him out of the U.S. military said, if you can walk over here and sign these papers, I'll let you walk out of the hospital and you can go back to regular service. Otherwise, you are being discharged. He got up from his bed, walked across the ward, signed the papers. That's not the end of Roy Benavidez's story. His last combat mission, he was shot, stabbed, blown up by a grenade, stabbed again, shot, and blown up by a grenade again. Roy Benavidez was a player character with lots of hit points. Hey, Paladin. He took that damage. He tanked more damage than I could. That mine he stepped on, that'd have been it for me. I might have gotten myself walking again someday, but not in the space of time that it took him, and certainly not to go out and carry combat equipment and go out on a mission. That is a great video. Audie Murphy. I reference Audie Murphy again. He took legendary amounts of damage and lived. Simo Haya, the White Death, had half of his face blown away and lived. Otto Skorzeny, the Special Forces evil SOB, he survived being injured. His face got all scarred up. Mad Jack Churchill got a grenade thrown at him, blew up, knocked him unconscious. Surprised the hell out of the Germans when he woke up, when they were searching his body. To put this in D&D terms, these people had leveled characters. And what does that mean? Hey, Jorge. Let's talk about the paragraph that everybody seems to ignore when they get mad about hit points in D&D. It is quite unreasonable to assume that as a character gains levels of ability in his or her class, that a corresponding gain in actual ability to sustain physical damage takes place. It's preposterous to state such an assumption, for if we assume that a man is killed by a sword thrust, which does 4 hit points of damage, we must similarly assume that a hero could, on the average, withstand 5 such thrusts before being slain. Why then the increase in hit points? Because these reflect both the actual physical ability of the character to withstand damage, as indicated by constitution bonuses, and a commensurate increase in such areas as skill in combat and similar life or death situations. The sixth sense, which warns the individual of some otherwise unforeseen events, sheer luck, and the fantastic provisions of magical protections and or divine protection. Therefore, constitution affects both actual ability to withstand physical punishment and the immeasurable areas which involve the sixth sense and luck. And here's another example that Gary threw in. Harkening back to the example of Rasputin, it would be safe to assume that he could withstand physical damage sufficient to have killed any 4 normal men, i.e. more than 14 hit points. Therefore, let us assume that a character with an 18 constitution will eventually be able to withstand no less than 15 points of actual physical damage before being slain, and that perhaps as many as 23 hit points could constitute the physical makeup of a character. The balance of accrued hit points are those which fall into the non-physical areas already detailed. Furthermore, these actual physical hit points would be spread across a large number of levels, starting from a base score from an average of 3 to 4, going up to 6 or 8 at second, 9 to 11 at third, 12 to 14 at fourth, 15 to 17, and so on, etc. Note that the above assumes a character is a fighter with an average of 3 hit points per die, going to physical ability to withstand punishment, and only 1 point of constitution bonus likewise being assigned. Beyond the basic physical damage sustained, hits scored upon a character do not actually do such an amount of physical damage. Consider the character who is a 10th level fighter with an 18 constitution. This character would have an average of 5.5 hit points per die, plus a constitution bonus of 4 per level, or 95 hit points. Each hit point scored upon the character does only a small amount of actual physical harm. The sword thrust that would have run a first level fighters through the heart merely grazes the character due to the fighter's exceptional skill, luck, and sixth sense ability, which caused movement to avoid the attack at just the right moment. However, having sustained 40 or 50 hit points of damage, our lordly fighter will be covered with a number of nicks, cuts, scratches, and bruises. It will require a long period of rest and recuperation to regain the physical and metaphysical peak of 95 hit points. That's it, guys. It's hit points are just their luck, their endurance, if you will. I want you to think about for a minute, and if you haven't seen it, watch Ridley Scott's The Duelists. It was his first major film production. Harvey Keitel and I think it's Keith Carradine. It involves 2 cavalry officers who duel each other at different times. And one of their duels, they fight in, I think it's a stable or possibly a cellar. I can't remember which. But we join the duel towards the end. Both characters are sweaty, bruised, near the point of exhaustion. They have bashed each other. They have smashed each other with the pommels of their swords, shoved each other into the walls, kicked each other, gouged each other. But neither one of them has taken a sword thrust. In AD&D, they have sustained damage. They can't keep going. The fight literally ends with both of them exhausted. They've taken hit point damage. Bob, Doc, great. You guys know the scene I'm talking about. How many times can you get the wind knocked out of you and keep going? Exactly, Paladin Steve. Wouldn't you say a heck of a con to survive System Shock? Sure, sure. And again, I mean, you're rolling on the dice, right? You could have a con of 18 and still fail your System Shock roll. A con of 18 doesn't save you in that circumstance if you fail it. That's your luck running out. And that's what hit points represent. Not just your ability to take physical damage is small. The other damages are in morale, stamina, well, things that might not necessarily kill you, but they're gonna add up. They're gonna add up. Exactly, Paladin Steve. A bath in the back to tank. There you go, Ori. So I don't buy into this AD&D hit points are unrealistic. First of all, AD&D is not supposed to be a hyper realistic game. I find that there are games that maybe they have a more realistic system. It does not necessarily cotton that it is a better system. And indeed, I would make the argument that trying to layer more realistic onto AD&D makes it worse, not better. It makes it worse, not better. Now, I absolutely think that certain systems that have tried to make AD&D better have maybe had a little bit less success, but they went on to be great games in their own right. But AD&D is an abstracted system. When you're 5th level and you square off against kobolds or goblins, you crack your fingers and you remember all the times those little bastards stopped you. Maybe you lost your first 3 characters fighting goblins and kobolds in the Caves of Chaos. So now at 5th level, you get to go knives out, and you're getting 1 attack every level that you have against sub 1 hit die creatures. And it feels good. Because you've got a high strength and a +2 longsword. The DM doesn't even have to roll. Just let me know if you hit as you drop that handful of D20s. But that is how AD&D hit points are right and good. That's how they're right and good. Because they represent the abstract, not the realistic. You think 4 points of damage in a melee round is 1 single stab? The round is 1 minute long. Maybe you bashed him with a hilt guard, crushed his instep, sliced him a couple of times on the forearm, stabbed him in the abdomen a little bit, through an elbow. You know, you got that plate armor on your elbow. So I just think people have, I think people tend to overthink hit points. Well, hit points are bad. They're the worst. So many games do it better. They don't. Other games don't do it better. Other games do well inside their own game. I don't look. I like Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. I like Heavy Gear. I like BattleTech. I like Call of Cthulhu. I like Hero System. I like Mechton. But they don't do it better than D&D. D&D doesn't do it better than them. Inside my comfy little box of first edition AD&D, it's perfect. It's perfect. Well, are you saying that you don't need any other game system to come in? Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Of all the things that I might borrow from another game system, of all the things I might change about AD&D, hit points is not them. Hit points is not them. If I wanted realism in AD&D, I would move to a more realistic system. And I'm going to be frank with you. There are no realistic fantasy role play combat systems. I'm sorry. I don't care if you love Harn, Rollmaster, RuneQuest, Dragon Quest, or even Legendary Adventures or Dangerous Journeys. They're not realistic either. Call of Cthulhu has hit points, and when you lose them all, you die. Oh, thank you, Paladin Steve. Quest. Progress Quest. So I just Johnny Quest. I just put that out there. I just felt like, it merits mentioning. It merits mentioning. And most people got it. I didn't get a lot of the weirdest pushback I got was people insisting that knife was like, oh no, you got to give that a +1, or that's a short sword actually, or that's more like a wakizashi, and I'm just like, guys, okay, forget the knife. Uh, 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 you know, the chef's knife that you never use or never use properly, that came with that knife set you got when you got married, that thing. Just whatever long bladed poignard like weapon or knife that you're using as a weapon. Oh, but I'm sorry, if you're in the UK, knives in the knives in the rest of the world, they come to a point, so you can better cut with them. I don't think you guys have that over there, but anyway, so what do you guys think? I want to know what you guys think. And there, like I said, there's a lot of feedback on this, and a lot of it is like, well, this is why I switched to. I'm like, good for you. Um, Dirty History and Hobbies says, I know who you're talking about. But she did not take 3,300 d6 damage because fall damage caps out at, I believe, 10 d6. Now I've talked before on the show. Oh, let me see. Do I? Please tell me I still have this horrible thing. Um, gonna have to. Here we are. Let me inflict this abomination on you guys again. The next time, and if you want a copy of this absolute piece of garbage, let me know and I'll email it to you. The next time you have someone complaining about realism in D&D, just tell them, well, here, use this. This is ultra realistic. And they might go, well. Rules for exact hit location and damage for use with gunpowder, period, man-to-man rules. No reason you couldn't use this otherwise. Play Hag. No thanks. Hard pass, Jeff, but Bio 1 was created in 1974 to incorporate a degree of realism into a field of wargaming which was solely lacking. Bio 1 provides a complete and accurate system of damage location and effects for any gunpowder period of warfare, which they're referring probably to man-to-man combat in Tractics, definitely Boot Hill. Bio 1 may at first appear confusing. No, not just at first, Jim. By the way, that's not a reference to Jim Warders. Jim Muscala, the creator of this thing. It may at first appear confusing. No, it keeps doing that the whole time. It's not just the first. It goes on and on and on being confusing. And I love this rule right here. I'm not going to take this whole time just to crap on this. It's not good, but I'm not going to do that. As many decimal dice, it's referring to D20s that have 9 through 0 twice on them. Percentile dice would probably work. Paper and pencil. Bio 1, which you now hold in front of you. Well, thank you, Jim. But it goes on. It explains all of this. We get to the charts. Full, half, side, lying on side, half, lying front, lying back, lying front, upper, half, lying side, upper. And then we get to the only good part, this. And it's not good because it's a way to determine levels. It's good because it makes a nice dungeon map. That's it. Jorge, there was a U.S. Forestry Service employee. I remember I had a Guinness Book of World Records for 1976, and I was stunned by this. The fellow was old then, so he was probably born in the late 1800s. He was struck, I think, 7 times by lightning in his career. 7 times. But I mean, look at this. Now, the abdominal wounds chart continued. Head wounds, arm and hands, legs. The bleeding chart. Don't forget the bleeding chart. Guys, nobody wants that shit in their games. I'm sorry. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Oh, was it 1912? Oh, what? Huh. Um, I mean, they kind of tried to do this in Blackmore too, with percentages of hit points on given body locations, but then they wanted to cover every body type. So you had like, you know, insectoid and centaur and snake and lizards. And hello, St. Cuthbert. Orbital air, exactly. Thank you. That is the question. To what gain? What does it get me to be more realistic in AD&D? And how much more realistic do you want to be? This is a game where a well-read 17-year-old can break every law of thermodynamics. He can violate the fundamental principles of physics. That's okay, but big sword goes stab isn't? Do you have a wound chart like that for the plasma? I do not. I do not, Lead Farmer. There are ample systems that have allegedly more realistic. Phoenix Command. But good Lord, guys. Good Lord. Don't. Let me ask you something. How many of you guys cook? How many of you guys do your own cooking out there? I do. I'm going somewhere with this. This is relevant. Yeah, right, Jorge. Ptolemaikas. Okay. Back me up on this, Ptolemaikas. The more you stir something or blend it or whatever, does it get smoother and creamier and easier to work with? Or does it get stiffer and harder? The more you whip something, the more you blend something. The more energy you put into something like that, it's not going to get easier. You have to stop. You have to stop at some juncture, guys. That's well said, Dirty History and Hobbies. And it's like people are mad that Gary drew that line in the sand. No, there's things that continue to thicken and stiffen when you blend them. Great old ones. Ask me how I know. Like there's a point at which I stop blending my cheesecake filling because I know it'll just get thicker and gloopier and harder to work with. But I just don't see the point in, well, this has been broken in D&D forever and we have to fix this because. And so I addressed it today. But I mean, it's a forum for open discussion, so I'm not going to go like mute or block the people who said, well, I use this or I don't think that, you know. But anyway, that's the big D&D thing. You guys can chew on that. You can mull it over. Do you guys have any questions? Anything you wish to discuss? Ask now. I, the Dungeon Delver, will answer your question. While you're thinking, I'm going to very good point, great old ones. I'm going to recap AD&D tomorrow night. Yes, but Wednesday night. Paul Stormberg, Thursday night. So excited, ready for that. I hope you guys are too. Friday night, the last Gamma World of 2025. And I should point out, oh, thank you, Doc. Every detail you add cost time slowing play. It's a question, at what point do the returns diminish to the point of not being worth the investment? Paladin Steve, no, but I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. In 2026, we're going to have some merch with the Delver's Creed on it. I don't, yes, Cuthbert, Paul on Thursday night, Paul Stormberg, Thursday night. I don't, I might have to take the F-bomb out and we'll have to figure out like the lettering and stuff so it's big enough to read. It's a lot to read. And what side would you want it on? I mean, the front or the back? I've got some fun merch coming up in 2026, guys. I'm excited about it. But anyway, so Paul Thursday, last Game World Friday, and that's what I was going to talk about. So we're playing Call of Cthulhu through October, whether it's 4 sessions or 5 sessions. I like that, Steve. I like that idea. But at the end of October, I don't know. You know, I may run 4 more Gamma Worlds in November. Well, 3. Because I don't think Friday after Thanksgiving I'm going to want to, because I know a lot of people are going to be traveling. So there may be some Gamma World in November, but at the end of November, other than the Dice Advent and the Dice Advent and the Big Show on Christmas night, December 25, I will not be streaming. If there is big TTRPG news, I'll break it right here. So, yeah, I'm taking all of December off except for the Christmas Dice Advent videos, and which they're pre-recorded. They're not live streams. And then the live stream that Mrs. the Dungeon Delver and I do on Christmas night. So, Stretchy tee with the words Dungeon Delver below the wizard image would be very cool. I unfortunately don't own that and I can't use it. Either the icon that I'm using over on little PFP I made for myself over on X that I cribbed from Punky Doodles, or the wizard logo that I think belongs still to Watson. It doesn't belong to me, and I'm not getting into a matter of finding out whether or not I can license it, because the last few people who've attempted that have wound up in very ugly situations. I'm going to continue to use it, but I'm not putting it on any merch. If you want one to stick on your own one-off merch or a t-shirt, I think there's a vector object of it out there somewhere, but you'll have to hunt it down. Or at least a very large format one that you can shrink down and it'll still look good. Yeah, I can maybe do that, Paladin Steve. But there is some new merch coming, so I hope you guys will consider that, including a Dungeon Stupid Delber merch. If you guys know, you know, but there will be Dungeon Stupid Delber merch that we'll release. I don't know if I'm going to try and get it out the door before the holidays or if we're going to do it after January. I've got a few different, yes, it is, Bob. I've got a few different things that I want to do after the holidays. But anyway, I think that's where I'm going to leave it, guys. Thank you all for tuning in tonight. I want to give a big special thank you to Doc Flamingo for 2 supers and for being a member for 19 months. Paladin Steve, thank you for the super. And my ear trumpet has been struck by lightning. Thank you for the gifted membership, which I think went to Jorge. So, yes, Stupid Delber, Dungeon Stupid Delber. That is me. So thank you all very much for tuning in. We'll be back. We'll be back tomorrow with First Edition AD&D. That's at 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock on Wednesday. I may go a little early on Thursday if Paul is game, just so we can have a longer show. But we'll have to see. I appreciate it, everyone. Thank you all very much for being here. Now, if you would please, on your way out, don't forget to tip your owl bear. Peace. Good night. Love you all.
Have you seen my owl bear? Here's to all the weirdos everywhere in the woods and in the air. Have you seen my owl bear? Should I shave off all my hair? Bobs are all around. Some live in tunnels underground. Some are fat, some are rich, some are sleeping in a ditch. Can you ride a crooked horse without a saddle way off course? Naked as a toad all the way to Smoky Joe's. Have you seen the little creep driving fast in his little green Jeep? He smells like fish and brandy, but his rotten teeth look dandy. Take me to the show, I don't care if fast or slow. From action flicks to dancing dicks, just take me to the show.